I'm Lucy and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be looking into some hiking thrillers. Outdoorsy wilderness kind of thrillers are one of my favourite subgenres of thriller. So in this video I found a few that I haven't read yet, so I figured I would read them in this video and then kind of give like some updates and stuff. I might do a little bit of hiking around it too. Yeah, so I haven't planned a huge much out of it. I hadn't planned a lot for this video, but I do have the books picked out. I'm reading The Couple's Trip by Kvensler, which is set in this Swedish mountains. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I've also got The Hike by Susi Holliday, which I believe is set in the Swiss mountains, I think, or some kind of mountains. I'm also going to read The Hiking Trip by Jenny Blackhurst, which is set in British Columbia in Canada. I'm especially looking forward to reading that one because I am in Alberta, so any kind of Canadian thrillers are really fun to read, just because they are that little bit closer than Sweden and Switzerland to me. But yeah, so I am really excited to read all three of those books. I'm hoping I love all of them. Like I said, I really do love kind of this outdoorsy kind of the hiking aspect to the thrillers, so yeah. So I think I am going to start with The Hiking Trip by Jenny Blackhurst. For no other reason than I borrowed it through my Libby app and it needs to go back to the library the soonest, whereas I have The Hike on Kindle and I own a copy of The Couple's Trip. So yeah, I'm going to start with Hiking Trip and go from there. So I'm currently about 30% into The Hiking Trip, and there's quite a bit going on so far, so I'm not really sure what really to make of it. There's the characters kind of being set up. There's two timelines. So there's 1999 during the hiking trip itself, and then there's 2019, 20 years later, and kind of back at home, sort of. 2019, you got Laura. She's married with 2 children and seemingly has a very happy marriage, happy relationship, loves her kids, and everything's going good until she hears something on the news about human remains being found somewhere along a hiking trail near Vancouver. So, and then suddenly she spirals out of into chaos, and yeah, like she's shocked. She goes into a panic, and everything kind of really complicated for her. Yeah, still trying to figure out who she is. Back in 1999, you've got there's 3 people on a hiking trip. So there's Maisie, who is 19. She was supposed to go with a sort of friend who backed out last minute, so she ended up going alone. And then along the way, she met a brother and sister pair, Seraphine and Rick. And yeah, so we're kind of there. So the brother and sister pair have kind of tagged along with Maisie, and Maisie is hooking up with the brother, and there's been a lot of talks about Seraphine being jealous, like possibly being jealous and stuff. Now, Seraphine in 2019 is the person whose remains have been found. So she obviously dies along the trail, and so the two timelines are kind of, the hiking trip is kind of going to take us to that point, and then the 2019 is kind of the aftermath of the remains being found, I guess. Yeah, so that is where I'm at currently. So far I don't really know what to make of the characters. Laura is a bit odd, really. And the funny thing is, she doesn't remind me of like Maisie or Seraphine. Laura is quite obsessed with her kids, like very, very into them. She's obviously hiding something. The discovery of these bones have really like rocked her world. Maisie she's kind of naive, I would say. She's a person that lets people take advantage of her quite a lot. It's happened consistently, and when she's talking about like her friends and things, she's kind of the one that everyone takes advantage of. And on this trip, she's like Rick has been encouraging her to come out of her shell and kind of become like her true self or her free self or whatever. And yeah, I quite like Maisie. She's an interesting character, but I really like Seraphine, and there's kind of more going on there that I'm excited to see unfold, and I'm really excited to see how the trip itself unfolds, because I mean, you already kind of know where it's going, so you're just waiting to see the pieces of how it gets there. So I'm excited to see how the puzzle fits together. And yeah, so that's where I'm at so far. I'm only 30% in, like I said, so not super far. Yeah, so I'm going to read a little bit further and see how it goes. I don't know if I'll update until the end unless something really exciting happens. But yeah, so I will pop back soon. So I finished reading The Hiking Trip, and I really enjoyed this one. It had quite a few twists at the end, some that I'd kind of sort of guessed partway through, but some that I definitely hadn't or wasn't quite right. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really cool reading. It was partially set in Canada and partially set in England. And it was kind of cool reading something set in, I guess, both countries, since I mean, I currently live in Canada, but I am from England, and so having that kind of mix is kind of cool. And I haven't read a lot of books set in Canada, so it is kind of cool to find some and read some. And yeah, I mean, I've always really liked this kind of outdoorsy, kind of thrillery kind of genre of thrillers. So yeah, I really did enjoy it. There's kind of a lot of characters, and there is a lot that happens. It's kind of follows it's kind of like a dual timeline kind of a thing. There's 1999 during the trip, the hiking trip, and then 2019 kind of following kind of the aftermath sort of. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one, I've got to say. I thought it was actually quite well written. I don't think some of the timeline didn't quite seem to match up. But other than that, it was good. And if I kind of ignored the little details where the timeline didn't quite seem to fit, you know, I can still appreciate it. Just, yeah, I think the hiking trip maybe needed to be a little bit more in the past, just to make it all kind of fit a little bit better. But other than that, yeah, I really enjoyed it. So, like I said before, it has, you know, this Maisie, and she goes hiking on a hiking trip through like part of, well, like the Vancouver forest near Vancouver, and she meets some people on the way. Things end up happening. A girl called Seraphine, like, that has befriended Maisie, ends up dying or being killed, and then it's all just the kind of the aftermath of it all. And it's like the events leading up to the incident, and kind of things that followed as well. And yeah, Maisie definitely, I mean, she was a bit of a kind of a weak sort of character, in that she was very easily manipulated, and just kind of goes along with what, you know, everyone else kind of says and does, and she's very easily like influenced into trying like certain drugs and things that she wasn't really interested in, but she was also kind of on a little bit to kind of find herself too, not just you know, part of her hike was to kind of get a, you know, proper escape away from her home life, and just kind of figure out who she is, or try and find a little bit more independence. And she doesn't really quite get there, because she's just so easily influenced by the other people that she meets. And then there's Seraphine, who is an interesting character. There's a lot to dig into with her, and she, I think, was my favourite character to read about, just because she was so, there was just so much going on with her that I enjoyed it so much. Like, the whole thing was so good, and just a lot happening, and just so much to dig into, and I was very excited to get it finished. And yeah, like, it was a very, very good book. So yeah, I really definitely enjoyed that one. So now I'm going to be starting to read The Couples Trip by Ulf Kvensler. So this one is set in Sweden, and it sounds like it might be a bit similar to some of the things that happen in The Hiking Trip, but that's kind of, I mean, the wild kind of wilderness genre is kind of what I'm going for this. So and I do love these, so I am confident I'm gonna love this one. So says two couples set out together on a hiking trip that goes terrifyingly wrong in this addictive psychological thriller. Anna, Henrik, and Melina's annual hiking trip is just around the corner. This year, however, Anna and Henrik have a hard time saying no when Melina asks if her boyfriend Jacob can tag along. The hike soon spirals into mayhem when the three friends come to realize that that taking Jacob was a decision that could change their lives forever. Through the austere mountain tops of northern Sweden, this highly anticipated thriller traverses the unexplored wilderness. Here, there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. So I am really think I'm gonna really enjoy this one, just because it sounds so like right up my alley. Like I love a bit of danger in the wilderness. So I'm gonna get stuck into this probably right away, and so I will probably be back with any kind of update. So see you in a bit. So I'm about 80 pages into the couples trip, and it is already so stressful. Like, I am so stressed reading it. There's always bits that you know how they're gonna unfold, and like you're like waiting, watching it happen, and just like I'm just trying to like prepare myself for it because I know it's coming, and I am so stressed out about it. So basically there's two couples, Anna and Henrik, and then Melina and her brand new boyfriend that no one has ever met, called Jacob. And they had planned a hiking trip that they've done pretty regularly, like annually. And then new boyfriend comes along and says, hey, let's go on this other trip. That's a lot more of a dangerous hike, and one that you need to be a lot more prepared for, and really pushes it and like kind of aggressively with it. And so like one of these, like, not enough supplies for the trip that he's now proposing. They're not prepared for it. It wasn't on their radar to want to do it, but he's persuaded them that they have to, and so reluctantly everyone's agreed, and we're not even like there yet, and it's just already so stressful. Neither of the guys are particularly great. Henrik is pretty volatile as well, and like Jacob is bad. Like, he's already, like, you already know he's not who he says he is, or what he says he is, or anything like that. But like, Henrik isn't particularly likable either. Like, he is also like, he's pretty mean and rude, and like, kind of, if he's not getting his own way, he's not happy. So he's hard to read too, which is, I think I might struggle with this one, because I have trouble with characters that I really don't like. And like, I know what's gonna, like, I know, like from the blurb, bits about how it's gonna unfold. And so I'm nervous. Like I'm enjoying the book. Like, it's not bad. I'm just so stressed out about it, and I'm very concerned that I'm not gonna like I already don't like either of the male characters, which, so I might struggle with this one. I'm still thinking it'll be good, and like, I'm excited to read something that's set in like the Swedish mountains, because that sounds really good. I'm hoping for lots of like scenery, and like setting the scene, and just lots of kind of visuals to see, like
the mountains in my mind. So I'm excited for that part. And like, I mean, the blurb does sound really interesting, and like how it's going to unfold. So I'm now 160 something pages into the book, and it is still incredibly stressful to read. It's split kind of in between, like between the hike itself and then kind of an interview with the police afterwards. So you kind of get kind of the events as they're unfolding, plus kind of some more of like the inner workings of how it unfolded as it unfolded. And I'm really enjoying that. Still struggling with some of the characters. Neither of the guys still are particularly great. Henrik, so Anna's husband, is improving a little bit. Like, he's getting a little bit less obnoxious, but I think that's just because Jacob is getting more so, and so in comparison, Henrik is just, he's a lot more preferable now. Jacob just stresses me out, and yeah, I am really enjoying the book though, and I'm loving all of the like the scenery and stuff, and like the descriptions of like the hike and where they are, and kind of the conditions and the environment. So I'm really enjoying that, and yeah, I'm eager to continue and see what happens next, and how it all unfolds. Like, I already know there's like a vaguely how it's gonna end, but it's seeing how it's gonna get there that I really enjoy, and I'm really excited to follow and to read. So yeah, I'm gonna read a little bit further and see how it goes. I may update as it gets a little bit further on, or I may wait until I finish the book itself to talk about it some more. So I will just see, just base it on what there is to talk about when I get there. So that's the update for now. I still have, the book's just about 400 pages, so I still have a little over half to go. I'm a little bit under halfway, so I still have a little bit to go. But yeah, definitely eager to see how it all unfolds and what happens, and just a little bit more. I really enjoy Anna's character, both in the the main parts and in the interview at the end, or in between. And so that's really cool. There is a little bit of a, I don't understand why they keep going. I mean, the reason they keep going is because if they didn't, there would be no book. But there are so many red flags at this point, and so many like questions, and like they've already gone on to this much harder and like more experienced hike than they were intending. They're not prepared for it. They're undertrained because they haven't trained for this particular one, and yeah, and there's just so many red flags going into it that this guy is giving off, and they just keep sticking with it, and it's just like, can we not? Like, so it's a little bit frustrating in that sense. And yeah, like, I mean, Jacob bakes my skin crawl, so that's good to read, good fun. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot, so I'm excited to see how it continues. The Couples Trip by Kvensler, and I have to say I did end up liking it. It was a stressful read the entire way through. Nothing about it changed in that sense. Like, it remained stressful. And I will say that when we got to the point that I was sort of waiting for, like the build up for it, it was a little bit like anticlimactic in a way. And there's a part of me that's still a bit confused about the ending. So there is that. Yeah. So not entirely sure what my final thoughts are, but that. Yeah. I just struggled with the characters like most of the way through, and I just truly didn't really care what happened to some of them, but I did enjoy it, and I felt all the emotions and, like, you know, anger and irritation and just general just stress. So I do think it was a really good book and, like, well written. I just there were just some things that made me a little bit uncomfortable, I guess, which is good too. Yeah, all told, I just found the ending a little bit lackluster, I guess. I'd been waiting for certain events to happen for a huge chunk of the book, and when it finally did, the way it happened was just a bit, I don't know, just wasn't exciting as the build-up was, I guess. But maybe that's my fault. I was there waiting for it to happen, like kind of on edge for it, and just waiting to get there to the point where it happened. And then it finally did, and it was just like, okay, it happened now. So yeah, so that's kind of how it was. Yeah, told all four of the characters ended up annoying me in the end. You know, the guys, Jacob and Henrik, didn't care for them from the beginning, but like, this is all told from Anna's perspective, and towards the end, I didn't really care much for Anna either. Like, she's just, I don't know. Like, so yeah, so I have finished that one. I did really enjoy it, and I think the fact that I have so many, like, or felt so many emotions while reading it does prove that I did really enjoy it. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. I'm glad I'm done with it. I'm going to be starting on The Hike by Susi Holliday pretty soon. I do have it on Kindle, but I also broke down and ordered a paperback copy as well. So just waiting for that to arrive. I should get it in the mail tomorrow, according to my little tracker. And yeah, so I am excited to get stuck into that one. Right now I'm just kind of wandering through the coulees and getting a little bit lost, if I'm honest. I have no idea where I am, but I'm having a good time, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah, just happily getting lost. These are probably my favorite. This is probably my favorite place to be. There's always like new paths to explore and just stuff to do, and I just love it. I love the coulees. It's like my favorite. It really is my favorite place. So yeah, just gonna walk a bit further, and also not too many people ever come down here, so don't run into very many people. So still kind of getting used to this, like vlogging out and about, so finding places that aren't many people to kind of get used to it is kind of nice. Yeah, I'm sure where I'm supposed to be going. That's okay. Yeah, so yeah, so finished couples trip, and we'll probably check back in when I'm at least part way through the hike, if not at the end, depending on what kind of my thoughts about it are. So yeah, alright, So see you in a bit. So I have finished The Hike by Susi Holliday, and honestly I would say this is less thriller and more family drama, and just full of family drama and marriages and just poor communication between all involved. Yeah, it was like some thriller elements, but really the focus was all on the drama and like what was going on in their personal lives. This big elaborate scheme that had been like planned and was put into motion, and then some difficulties and changes along the way. But ultimately, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily describe this as a thriller in the sense that the other two books were. There wasn't a ton of like suspense or any of that. Like, it was a very quick read and very easy to read, but just not all I was expecting, I'll be honest. And just I thought there would be I was hoping for more suspense and chaos and just eeriness, right? And it just wasn't. So I liked it. It was okay. I wouldn't say it was the greatest book I've ever read, and of the three I've read for this video, I would say that I preferred The Couple's Trip over it like immensely. But yeah, I mean, I've had this one on my list to read for quite a while, so I am glad that I did it. And yeah, it was an okay read, and it was like the pace was reasonable. I'd kind of wanted a bit more, I don't know, of the scenery too, like the visual aspect. Like, they're in the Swiss Alps, and there wasn't a lot of like a whole lot of like descriptions. Like, it felt like it could have been anywhere. They could have been marching along the Yorkshire Dales or anywhere, So the Alps just wasn't. It was a big aspect of it, but it really wasn't. Like, it really could have been any hiking spot or any mountain or anything, and I didn't really get a sense that I was there in the way that I did with The Couple's Trip. And it's reading them back to back, like the Swiss and Swedish mountains, so easy to compare the two, because I really enjoyed The Couple's Trip. Like, I mean, it made me so angry and like all the emotions, but it really was like a wild, suspenseful ride. And this, just in comparison, just wasn't. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please subscribe and check out some of my other videos. I try to post new videos every day, so if you liked this one, keep an eye out for the next one. So thank you for watching.